On that note, welcome to the first episode of the Relatable Podcast. This is your host, Godwin. Before we start the topic, get to it, just do some brief intro very quickly. So, my name is Godwin. I always wanted to become like an RJ, and engineering happened, software happened, and somehow I ended up somewhere else. But I also, now that I have some time here and there, I was like, okay, so I was always passionate about this. Also love talking. So let me do it in like something like a small scale, like a podcast format where start talking about something, a topic, maybe like once in a week, maybe like invite some guests here and there. I'm not completely like sure where this is going to go. I tried it in like Spotify for the first few episodes, so check it out if you're interested. But also wanted to get it in like YouTube video format. That's the reason where I'm just looking at like which angle to look at, what to look at. This feels new, but this like I wanted to actually try it out. So this is what you can expect, and think we'll kind of like talk more as we go on. So first episode, so what I wanted to talk about this time is like FOMO. My life is in this and So basically fear of missing out. So what do you actually mean by FOMO, or like what kind of FOMO like do we or I face recently? So picture it like it's, like you work 5 days, you're exhausted, and like Friday or Saturday finally comes, you're like waiting for the weekend. Subconsciously you feel like it's weekend, you need to do something, like either like you need to go to a party, or like you have to travel somewhere, or you need to like you basically have to do something, right? Like sometimes you get that feeling, like sometimes if you're just going to like chill at home, is that like does that complete your weekend? So that's kind of the feeling, like like because you work like 5 days and you get like two days off, you want to do something, like you actually want to do something. Now where does this come from, like this exact feeling, like why do you feel this pressure of doing something, that fear of missing out on doing something? One of the biggest motivators I feel initially is like social media, like whether it's Instagram or Snapchat. Like that if it's like Saturday evening or Sunday evening, you're gonna get that batch of posts. Like you open Insta, you're gonna scroll down, you're gonna see all that post, and that's like the first click, like I should have done something kind of thing. That's like something, whether it's like Snapchat or like some stories here and there. You kind of like see everyone's like post or like stories, and you kind of like start getting into this, like this system of thinking, yeah, I kind of want to do something, and you want to post something. I don't know, like this is like that cycle where unless you realize you're in that cycle, you're gonna go deep down, and it's not gonna be like healthy. And that's when you kind of ask this question, what do you really want to do at that time? Sometimes, like some Fridays, there are times where it's like like you don't want to do anything, you're exhausted, you come from work, you just want to lie on the sofa and watch Netflix. And if you go to sleep, you kind of like when I think about that day is like perfect for me. I'm not gonna post anything, I'm not gonna do like any social media shenanigans, but if I think about what I did that day is actually so good, right? And that's gonna be like completely opposite for another Friday or like another Saturday, where I actually travel somewhere, see a new city, or I go to like a party, dance. And at that time I felt like doing it naturally. I did it, I get satisfaction. Maybe I posted on Instagram, but that's the thing. It's more like, rather than the person posting it or like the person like sharing like a certain memory or story, it's how we see it. So when I actually like open open Instagram to see something, or like see someone's story or this thing, I should always think, okay, this person is like maybe doing something else, or like doing something they like. I should not compare myself to that person, nor should I like think about doing that particular thing right now. I should like be conscious that it doesn't like subconsciously like come inside and ask me like, you want to do this or something. No, I'm fine, I'm chilling, I'm watching Netflix, like this is cool, this is like something I enjoy doing. Or like I'm actually like traveling, like this is fine. No matter like what happens, I think like in social media something, it's kind of easy to get carried away. And I feel like this is something we all go through, whether it's like, for example, it's like Thanksgiving, you kind of want to like, it's Thanksgiving, 4 days of leave. What are you doing? What's like Thanksgiving plans? What's like this plans? Like, hey, it's like either puja or like Diwali holidays. Like, what are your plans? What do you want to do for the next 3 days? And those questions keep getting asked, right? Like, you also like think, okay, maybe you should do something, maybe you should not something. But I think that depends on like your current mood, and that should come from within yourself. Do you really want to do something for this plan, or do you want to do it just for the sake of I did this at that particular time? And that's like, though it seems a little bit like simple, I think like that exact moment when you actually are in that holiday and that holiday is coming up or that weekend is coming up, it might be a little bit, I don't know, it might be hard at that time to decide what you want to do. But I was a victim. I feel like sometimes, I feel like a lot of times, a lot of the weeks, a lot of months, there are some things I did just for the sake of doing, just for the sake of going there. And after like a point of time, I kind of look back, like even when you saw the Google Photos or something, you clearly know which days you had fun yourself. You clearly know which days you had fun for the sake of having fun. After that point of time, it's like, it was that click moment where, okay, maybe like social media is influencing. Social media is like something it's like coming on your thing. Like, I'm not suggesting like, maybe like put screen time and like all that things to like stay away from social media. I feel social media is fun. There's like so many good things. For example, there's like even good sides of FOMO. Like there was this Anirudh concert that I actually wanted to go because one, I love Anirudh, obviously, but also like before, like, the concerts which he did previously in other cities or other countries, all those reels on Instagrams kept appearing. That's how I actually got to know about the concert. And then I told my friends, we started sharing stuff, and like basically that FOMO was the reason one of the reasons, not the entire reason, that I was able to actually attend that concert, and that became like an amazing memory. That became like an amazing thing. Like that FOMO is like actually a good FOMO. So not all FOMOs are like actually bad. So maybe that FOMO and like maybe other types of FOMOs are like things where but then again, even for the Anirudh concert or this thing, I think the ultimate point is you see that post, you see that reel, till that is fine. Ask yourself that question, do you really want to go? Are you excited to go? My answer was yes, so I went. Ask that question. Sometimes if you don't ask that question, maybe like you see that reel, you want to go. Not sure. I think that's the most important underlying thing. You stop, you ask that question, are you gonna be happy? Do you wanna like actually go? And maybe that's like, FOMO in general. But I don't know, there's like a lot of FOMO and there's like a lot of other things which kind of like, you are someone who want to do something, but whether it's peer pressure or like social media or like something else, you kind of influence. And honestly, it's kind of, it is like, it is frustrating or taxing at some points, but it's also like kind of good, I guess. And I guess that is basically it for this episode. So I wanted to continue this format and like maybe like think of a topic, something, and talk about it, something which is like happening to me, or like something which I notice happening, or like something you feel like talking about. And I don't know, with that note, I guess this is it. Ta-da, bye bye.